Warning. The following contains heated discussion, controversial movie geeks' opinions, and hot takes. These are their rankings. Welcoming to the show, we got Justin from Genre Exposure.
Hey, what's up?
Welcome back, homie.
Glad to be back.
Lawler.
Hello.
He plays a lawyer on TV.
Yes.
Oreo Brewer making his podcast debut.
I'm a little kid who's a grown-ass man.
Perfect. Movie geek, Teresa D. Lee.
Hello?
Hello. Duncan, not McLeod Sheridan.
How's it going?
Oh, he's not a McLeod? That sucks. So like
There can be only one.
There can be
He's a
only
Sheridan, so I assume you're related to Bruce Boxleitner on Babylon 5.
Oh, I love Bruce and B5. Fuck, that's my jam.
Yeah, that's my favorite president. Anyway,
Have you watched that shit chronologically, though?
yes.
Did you watch the last two movies before the series finale?
Yes.
Oh, that hurts, don't it? Oh, it hurts.
It's all a lot of fun.
I love
it's
this.
total of my kind of thing. Anyway, Chase Anderson.
From Bollockbuster. I go by Chase Face.
And he's used to saying, that's a load of bollocks.
That's a load of bollocks. That's as are all the 1-star reviews again.
I actually thought you were British before I got you on here.
I'm not. Just
I can do that.
Holy hell! This movie is pants.
I talk foolishly about movies, and
you bloody wanker! You can never make a movie to save your life.
It's all bollocks. But yeah, it's just sort of a take on the name. Obviously, Blockbuster, and then just ball busting 1-star reviews. So
I couldn't tell.
That's where the name comes from.
I'm a clueless 10-year-old.
Straight to the point.
A clueless 10-year-old, that's Batman's favorite toy.
Oh, God. He does dress up as a gimp.
Yes, he does.
And Matthew Dawson.
Hello. How's it going?
Thought you never get a chance to talk. He may or may not have been from Dawson's Creek, allegedly. I don't know.
No, that is a long-time nickname I've had, but no, I do not have any connection to the fine folks that worked on Dawson's Creek.
Perfect. You still get their fan mail anyway.
I do.
So, again, we were doing a DC, and tomorrow we'll also be doing a Marvel ranking, and I just figured, I see people do, again, just standalone. How about just rank all the adaptations as a whole? It can be
I did that on Letterboxd. And
right.
Cereal. That was fun.
It has to be fun. And obviously, we can't get to them all because there's so many. And at the same time, some of them are out of print, and some of them you may not know are based on imprints of Homage Comics and Vertigo. So we'll include a few other things like A History of Violence and Red and Human Target. But as a whole, I mean, it can be from any canon because this is one of the many, large imprints that has a very loose canon. And so when we're doing these rankings, everyone just give just kind of a few, just a brief description on like how they got into these various ones. So like group all the ones that you gave, like, for instance, a 3 out of 5 or a 2 out of 5 or a 4 out of 5 too. And kind of just go from there and try to group them as you can. If you don't want to have much to say about it, but have generally a lot of the same points to say about them, just, group them together so it doesn't become, a 3-hour thing I got to edit down.
Oh, right. Trying to save my battery.
And if you want, maybe I can even go first just to set the mood.
Oh, that works. I'll lay back. You do what you got to do. I'm a pillar princess, damn it.
So, grouping together with DC Comics. So, just a little background. I was always following just stuff that was just based on just serials. My sister was really big into Batman, like classic comics. And I had an uncle and various other relatives who would read all kinds of comic strips and watch animated cartoons. And So I just always followed a bunch of stuff, even if I didn't necessarily know all the source material, all the traits and tropes. I was just kind of like, it makes sense that they adapted it, because it does seem like so many movies could be comics and vice versa.
Oh, definitely.
And I like video games. I took it with a grain of salt because it's a different medium, so therefore it's going to be judged differently in a different medium. And at the same time, sometimes it just can't translate as awesome as it is. And I don't take movies all that much seriously anymore, because I'm either going to expect disappointment or too much, or it's going to be misadvertised. There you go. So to start off, I'm going to rank Lucifer, either version of Superman 2, Batman Begins, A History of Violence, V for Vendetta, Red 1 and 2, which is based on the DC sister company Homage Comics, Pennyworth, Human Target Show, Gotham, Birds of Prey movie,
I love Birds of Prey.
The Snyder Cut of Justice League, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen,
Yes,
Crisis of Infinite Earth special, and The Flash 90 show, a 4 out of 5. These are dynamite fun. Their cons are outweighed by the pros. They're all fun party movies. They all have fun moral ambiguity themes, and they're just epic. All I can ask for.
ambiguously gay duo.
Well, there is that too.
It's that shit.
Next up, the Constantine Film and Show, The Doom Patrol, Legends of Tomorrow, Man of Steel, the 70s Superman film, Tank Girl, Super Friends, most of the other DC cartoon movies and shows, the Suicide Squad films, Lego Batman movies, Smallville, Peacemaker, Shazam, Stargirl, 60s Batman film and show, Batman Beyond, Black Lightning, DMZ, Birds of Prey TV show, Swamp Thing 90s show, and The Dark Knight. I'm giving a 3.5 out of 5.
What?
They're all
3.5 out of 5 to
They're
The Dark
fine.
Knight. Good sir.
I'm sorry, Mr. Nolan completist. It's fun, but it's got some shit in there before you get to the good stuff. Anyway, they're all fun. They're all flawed. They do have some shit, but they're way better than most people make them out to be. And some of them, they're kind of overrated, but they're still a lot of fun. So, the 3 out of 5, which I'm giving to the So Bad It's Good. I'm giving this to Still, Superman 3 and 4, Batman and Robin, Arrow, and Swamp Thing 1 and 2. You gotta see these films to believe it. Oh my God.
Steel was really good, but they didn't. Like, when you look back at old DC shit from the 90s, the 80s, and 90s, you can really tell that they had the idea, but they didn't follow the execution all the way
Well, that's
through.
why it's so bad it's good.
Yeah,
It wants to be good. But then you got a basketball player who's trying his best to be the next Schwarzenegger, and it's just not quite there. It's still funny.
Yeah.
Funny. So, Krypton, Batman Forever, the Wonder Woman film, and the Watchmen show. I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5. There's some great elements in each of these, but unfortunately, there's just too much miscasting and self-indulgence, so I can't get into any of them.
I love Watchmen. That was good.
Yeah, Watchmen would be up on the upper. The TV show would be on the upper tier for me, I think.
You'll get your moment. So 2 out of 5. The mediocre. I'm giving this to Titans.
I gotta finish that.
Aquaman 2007 pilot, Supergirl 80s movie, Lois and Clark show, Batman and Superman 97 cartoon film, Aquaman, 40 Superman and Batman serials, and the Supergirl and Batwoman CW shows. Oh my God. And definitely to Aquaman.
So props to you for getting through those Batman serials, though. Props to you. Couldn't do it.
I'm not sure that I did. I think I blacked out, but what I did see, it was some serious shit.
It's a lot of gray.
Oh, followed by an abyss of darkness I can never get back from. So,
has not aged well.
Next up, 1 out of 5. Once again, guys, remember, hot takes. The more recent Superman cartoon movies. Batman versus Superman, the Justice League 90s pilot. You know who you are. Wonder Woman 84, Batman Returns, the recent Flash show, the 2019 Swamp Thing show, Joker, The Dark Knight Rises, and The Batman. Oh my God.
Joker at 1?
Oh, wow.
Stupid.
I cannot get into any of these movies. And
Wow.
I realize what they're going for, and even the Watchmen film has some great visuals, but
I
God
love that.
damn it. I felt like I had brain cancer after watching these. So kudos to you.
Wow.
Once again, hot take.
Hard
Joker.
disagree on like Joker, Dark Knight
Joker's got
Rises.
I couldn't get for that Purge copycat.
You put 6 hours of racist Chinese racism Batman serials above Tom Hardy's glorious Bane voice.
You mean unwatchable Bane voice, but it's all good. I will give you the floor now, Duncan McLeod.
And I was just going, to that take on the Bane voice. I'm a big Bane voice guy. I love the Bane voice.
I'm glad you like the Darth Vader copycat. It's all good. So once again, that's why I said at the start, hot takes. Okay, so you get the floor. You are in the Senate right now. Has to talk.
I just listened to some slandering of some of my favorite DC properties, so I'm ready to defend a couple of them at least.
Just rate what you love.
Yeah.
5-star rating. Say why you love it.
Yes. So I'm going to start off with my 5s. I got Watchmen, the show, and The Dark Knight. I just thought that Watchmen was just, I thought every show that Damon Lindelof does, I think is great. And I love that show. And I think The Dark Knight, everyone said anything about that. So no need to go into too much detail on why I like The Dark Knight. But those are my 5s. That's 1 and 2 for me in the DC properties. As I go through them, I'm going to go in the order that I actually do rank them as well. So my 4.5s are Batman Begins and The Batman. I think Batman Begins is criminally underrated. And if you are a fan of Batman Begins, check out the GDT episode on it because I defended it there. And The Batman, I think, was a little polarizing as well, but I am one of the people who liked it.
That was the most detective-focused version of it.
That was a big part of what I liked about it, honestly. That's a big part of what I advocated
He's so
for.
grounded and shit, and there's no like hardcore tech. Is the tech
and for me, the cowl is a big part of it. The whole suit's a big part of it, but I love the cowl in the Batman. I really do think that they kind of nailed it, especially for a year 2 Batman.
Yeah, year 2. Yep.
Very nice.
And they always get me with the brutality in it. But I'm, I think before we started recording, we joked around about the darkness of the DC universe in at least the more present day DC universe. And that kind of is, I'm a sucker for that, especially when, we're not talking Marvel right now, but there's light and bright stuff that you can get to. So for me, it's like I like to have an option for both. So I'm cool with the darkness in the DC universe.
It seems like I see so many contrarians go back and forth on the darkness. It's like so many people love the darkness and other people complain about them being dark, and I don't get it. They're inevitably going to get dark at one point or another. And if Marvel gets dark,
DC versus Marvel, you have dark and light everywhere.
Yeah,
but
I don't see anyone.
Further.
I don't see anyone complaining about Doctor Strange or one of the Avengers being dark, so I don't get it. What is the complaint about being dark?
Because they don't. Yeah. There's gen gap. That's the biggest thing. Is that there's people who have read the comics and haven't read the comics, and there's those who've seen the movies and shows and haven't seen them, and they've grown up in different eras. So they're expecting one version of that character, and then when they don't get that version, they go to straight toxic hive mind narrative mentality of niggling about how it's so bad.
Oh yeah, for sure. Somebody that was a kid in the 60s is expecting something way different than somebody that was a kid in the 80s. So for sure.
And even nowadays, it seems like these goddamn millennials don't know what they want.
I'm a millennial motherfucker.
So am I. But I'm just saying so many others. They're just like, they're watching movies that we saw when they came out. I'm like, you've never seen this or that? Man, you're slow.
And it's funny when you rewatch something because the first time you watch it, you're like, oh, this is fucking amazing. And then you go through a bunch of new Genesises in your life and you rewatch it and you pick up on new stuff altogether every time. And I love
this. This is why it stayed with you and you didn't realize it.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, man. All right. So, Duncan, I'll let you conclude your listing and I'll.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So those are my 4.5s. I have up next are my 4s. That rounds out. Those are my top 4 there. We have Watchmen show, Dark Knight, Batman Begins, and The Batman. So my number 5 is The Dark Knight Rises with a rating of 4 stars. And I just wanted to defend, like I said before, the Bane voice I'm a fan of. And I think I like when actors do things that are a little out of the ordinary, like take a little bit of a risk. And I think that doing a little bit of a wild Bane voice is one of those things that kind of just gets me. Like I like funny accents in movies, even if they're not always technically like accurate. I just like a little entertainment there, and I think that it works in the movie, and I think he's a good follow-up to the Joker in The Dark Knight. So that's a 4, as well as Watchmen, the movie, which I know a lot of people don't like, but I just love it. I think it's visually great. No one has like the right to adapt Watchmen because the creator of Watchmen doesn't want anyone to adapt it, so it's not really like I'm not too concerned about do they get Watchmen?
Alan Moore hates anything.
Right, exactly. Yeah. He's not gonna let you he's not gonna like, that was a good Watchmen adaptation.
You did a terrible job, and yet I can't even adapt my own stuff. Oh,
yeah, Stephen King. Yeah.
Oh my good sir, Maximum Overdrive is a masterpiece of a film.
I love that fucking movie. Shut up.
The original Transformers horror movie.
I'm offended. I'm gonna cancel you.
I'm gonna cancel you.
If you can get a crowd to cancel someone over a Maximum Overdrive take, I commend you,
right?
good sir. I commend you.
At least we all like Shopping Mall and Puppet Master. There you go.
Of course.
Hell yeah.
I have a couple more on my list. I've missed some of those. Like I didn't see Lucifer or Constantine. I've got my 3.5s. Well, in the 4, we still had Joker, which people have talked about Joker. For me, it worked. I like the performance. And then in my 3.5s, I have Batman, the original, or not the original, the Batman 89. Yes. Right. And then I have The Suicide Squad, which I thought worked for me. 3 out of 5
still a good rating. My God.
Yeah, no. So 3 out of 5 is a good score for me. I'm not like 3 out of 5 is a movie I very much enjoy, for sure. Yeah, like to get into the 4s, you got to be.
It's a passing grade. Be happy.
Yeah. It's interesting though. A 3.5, I wouldn't rate a 70 out of 100. It's a different score. It's like a different scale.
It's okay.
Yeah. I also have Shazam and Zack Snyder's Justice League at 3.5. I like both those. They're enjoyable. They're
I hate Shazam.
They're fun. Really? Oh, I thought it was funny. It worked for me. I saw it with my little cousin,
Anything
so that might have
with
impacted
Zach
it.
Levy from Chuck is gold.
Yeah, that was an interesting casting though. It was funny. I
hate that they cut out most of the film. That's what pissed me off.
And I just realized I forgot Green Lantern in my rating.
I almost decided to skip mine.
That's
where was Green Lantern for you?
That was definitely the 1 out of 5.
Yeah, a little spoiler for when I get to the 1s. Green Lantern is also in the 1s for me.
Perfect.
But so in my 3s, we got a lot of Batman in my 3s. I got Batman Returns, then Batman and Robin, then Batman Forever, and then I got Wonder Woman, Superman Returns, Aquaman. In that order are my 3s. I think that. Yeah, I saw that one when I was younger too, so I actually haven't rewatched that one in a good while. But these ones are ones. Yeah, you know what? I probably am underrating it. I'll give you that. These are ones that work for me and are fun.
He is easily influenced.
I'm telling you, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. I'm no Watto. You can get me on some Jedi mind drinks.
I'm just funning you.
Yeah. So like these ones are fun. They're fun movies. They get me going for a good amount of it, but they're not all there for me. But like this is where we start getting into ones that I'm like, all right, we need some work on this probably. But there's still good aspects of it. That's why they get the 3. 3's still like I'm having fun with it. 2.5 and lower, it's like all right, now it's like I'm not having fun. So that's where Batman vs Superman, Man of Steel, Birds of Prey, they're all serviceable. They're not like below 2.5. You're probably not really. I think you need to like go back and edit your movie and maybe shoot some more scenes. 2.5, they're good. They're a full movie. They did all the work they needed to do. It just didn't work for me at all. These 3 movies, Batman vs Superman, I think that there's a 5-star movie in there somewhere, and I like Zack Snyder a lot, but it didn't work for me.
The
Man
Batman
of Steel
fights are wonderful.
Oh yeah. I mean,
3 hour
he knows action.
Time that you gotta suffer through.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh my God, that's so apparent.
A slow burn. That's how it works.
Well, that is true. A lot of these are slow burns, and then it's just a matter of do you want to be is it a Sahara Desert burn or is it a really just mindfuck in your living room?
All right, I only got 4 left. I haven't seen a lot of the TV shows. I did watch a good amount of the Flash TV show, but other than that, in the Arrowverse, I didn't watch a lot. I'm not going to give the Flash a rating because I haven't seen a lot of the newer stuff, so I don't want to be unfair there. I don't want to be unfair to the Flash. It has parts that I like, so it's a CW show.
I saw so many
that's
people
all I'm gonna say.
who thought those effects were the best, and I was like, yeah, for TV, I've seen better.
Yeah, it's not. That's not definitely where they excel. But I got 4 more movies. I got 3 1s and 1 2. So Suicide Squad gets a 2. I actually enjoy a lot of aspects of this movie. I think it's fun in certain spots, but it's just not. It's not serviceable in like.
If only Will Smith could have slapped someone in that.
Yes. See, but like Will Smith's character works for me. A lot of the characters actually do work for me. They just need to do more with them, and they need to do less of the other. Like
I saw one fan who gave it a 1 out of 5 just because he didn't fight Batman. I'm like, he was never gonna fight Batman. The whole point is that he got ambushed.
Yeah, that's silly. So then here are the ones. These ones are bad movies. These ones, I'm not gonna say.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, it's these need to be worked on. I'm not saying that anyone who worked on them is like not good at their jobs. I think that they needed a more cohesive plan.
I thought I gave Preacher a 2 out of 5. Where is your 1 out of 5s, good sir?
So here are my ones. Justice League, the original Justice League. Obviously it had stuff going on behind the scenes, so it was turmoil to begin with. That was, never going to really work out, and it didn't work. Definitely didn't work for me. 1 out of 5. Green Lantern, 1 out of 5. I don't even need to rewatch that to tell you that it's bad. That's not a movie to come back to. Everyone, no one's going to be like, what? Did you just say Green Lantern was...
We love you, Martin
maybe
Campbell. We're sorry you killed your career for 5 years, and you got to come back. It's all good.
That's rough. And then Wonder Woman 1984 is perhaps my least favorite. Yeah, I think there are some fans of this movie. It just for me
Pedro
like
Pascal.
Yeah, he's a great actor in pretty much everything.
It was a last minute addition, and he's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, the whole story didn't work for me like from the beginning. So like I was out on it very early on, and like maybe I'm being unfair by giving it a 1, but this movie is my least favorite DC property. I liked Wonder Woman. The first one I really did like. I don't like Gal Gadot and a lot of other things other than Wonder Woman. I think she works as Wonder Woman, but it didn't work for me in 1984. That's my ranking, though. Watchmen show is number 1.
All right. Cool. Okay, so Teresa, I'm going to let you go next.
Okay, thanks.
Grab the floor.
What has been my favorite thing in all of the DC universe has been Constantine. That's a solid 5 for me.
Ooh.
The TV show.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
My favorite thing in all of DC Universe because Matt Ryan was great casting. He looks properly like Constantine, and
Guy crush
has like that punk rock, forceful,
yes, he does,
aggressive attitude, and
the grungy Nirvana look, man.
Yeah. And then they get the occult makeup right, and the effects are just amazing, and they stuck so to the comic books.
Stellar.
So that's my favorite thing. Solid 5 is Constantine TV. I want more of it. I haven't seen the Green Arrow crossovers, and I'm a little bit more excited about Justice League Dark than those that I failed to catch up on. But
all good.
My anticipatory rating of Justice League Dark is it's probably a 3.5 and not as good as I think.
That's accurate. That's very accurate.
It has Zatanna in it and more Constantine, so I've been like dragging my feet but wanting to see that.
Remember when that came out, people bitched about the fucking cover. It's like, does Batman have to take up the whole fucking cover?
Yeah, that was another drag my feet thing. Too much Batman.
Yeah. But Apocalypse War, though, that's really fucking... Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oof.
We get what we get. Okay, so very cool. So what is stuff that you would give a 3 out of 5 or a 3.5?
Right in the middle, 1950s Superman TV. I will go back and watch those, but they're cheesy. I will watch old Superman.
Yes, but we're all Mystery Science Theater Elvira fans here, so the cheese is where it's at.
Newer Supergirl is way better than old Superman.
Fair enough.
Or like deeper character writing.
Okay, cool.
Let's see. I suppose I have to give an opinion on Wonder Woman. I was catching up on Wonder Woman because I hadn't seen 84, and I watched 84 this weekend knowing that it was going to cheer me up, and it did. Because like the first Wonder Woman is awesome, and they introduced her properly, and they like Patty Jenkins really hit it out of the park on directing.
Yeah.
She's good at doing gritty tales, and here she is doing an empowering movie.
and making Gal Gadot believable in the action scenes. They only lose point on the soldier Steve Trevor being such an archetype or an icon for like all soldiers in combat that
she gets help from Captain Kirk, so that helps.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
I couldn't resist.
You mean in the Star Trek reboot, Chris Pine is also Captain Kirk,
the mirror
right?
universe, mindless version of Trek. Yeah.
That didn't distract me, but I thought that they make him such an everyman that it's kind of boring, and he feels like Captain America. And
yes. I'd
like,
see
so
it. Different Chris.
I hated the first Wonder Woman for that, but in the second one, like when it was like, okay, they're doing that again, I forgave them because, okay, he's all soldiers. She always has soldier archetype boyfriend, like people who are sacrificed in war, and then she has to lose him. So like with two of them doing that, I forgave them for having a boring boyfriend character. And loved Wonder Woman 84 way more than Wonder Woman for having a really strong setting with the 80s setting and a really strong theme and great villain archetypes. I like watching it. They introduced the Dreamstone, and I did not mind at all watching like a symbol for a cocaine trip throughout this whole thing.
Kristen Wiig helps. So there you go.
Yeah. Like she says, "Where's the Dreamstone?" And he's like, "It's me, you're looking at it." And I'm like, whoa, did they need to cavity search him? Did he snort this or take it as a suppository, forgetting where the Dreamstone had got to?
Hey man, any way to get drugs into a PG-13 movie, you got to do what you got to do.
But yeah, tying in the strong theme of the drugs look like a shortcut, but you don't get to enjoy what you get with them because they're destroying you.
That's how I lost my best friend.
And there was like,
okay, just one hell of a drug, man.
There was a commentary against stupid people who bluff their way into things and who destroy themselves, and that if you have only career, you don't get to have a family. And just her, and then Wonder Woman's monologue at the end with, "You can't have it all, but you can have the truth." It made me like rate that one higher, and that's like the 5-star Wonder Woman for me. And the first one falls to a 3, even though Wonder Woman is weakened in 84, and that initially made me hate it. But comparing the two movies, like 84 is more fun for me in the end. So I rate it higher, even though Wonder Woman is better in the first one.
Okay, so Teresa, what is going to be your 2s or 1s? Or just, if you just want to list all the ones that you think have some good elements, but are just unfortunately assembled by less experienced filmmakers and studios.
Ascending. You mentioned Tank Girl, and I really like Tank Girl, but it's probably only a 3 for me.
Oh yeah. Because I gave it a 3.5 just for the set design and the humor. And League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, funny. I'm sorry, that movie owns. Sean Connery is just so great, despite not getting along with the director on that movie.
I love League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That is my favorite goddamn film.
And DMZ, I know many people haven't seen it, but if you subscribe to HBO Max, you will be blown away by this 4-part miniseries on how it shows how
it's
divided
on my list.
All right.
See, I like the newer stuff because they don't focus on people with powers. They go to different stories. Like
they go to everyday Lex Luthor wannabes as opposed to, and this is the problem that this is the struggle as we find out as all these movies keep getting made. No one knows how much suspense they can interject with someone who's near unstoppable versus having a villain who's just going to respawn or come back to life at the end of the installment.
No doubt about Batman, honestly. I mean, my favorite one is Batman Returns. And then just for the part where Penguin bites the mayor's nose off. That's my favorite thing because it was like a first really violent.
It does have the best version of
theater.
Catwoman, that is for sure.
And yeah, introducing Catwoman and watching her make her own costume.
As opposed to that Halle Berry movie. Oh.
I don't know. I will watch any version of Catwoman.
Fair enough.
My favorite Catwoman's probably Eartha Kitt in the old 60s TV series.
She was fine. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's what made me happy about the Batman.
She's the most cat burglar and kind of edgy. She has an attitude and she stands up to Batman. Granted, Lena Kyle in Gotham is a good Catwoman too.
Oh, she's great too.
Yeah, I really love Gotham season 3 in particular because it's all starting to come together.
Oh hell, it has an even better takeover of Gotham. They actually show a giant fort that the police hide behind. with like all of Bruce and Selena, and I think they introduced Poison Ivy. While meanwhile, Penguin and Enigma, Riddler are pairing up. That's a favorite moment in Batman for me. And you have Dr. Bashir from Deep Space Nine as Ra's al Ghul, so that helps.
Yeah, like if I'm gonna, I started catching up because I thought, I should have watched The Batman, and I almost watched The Batman, but what I actually watched this weekend was the Joaquin Phoenix Joker because I needed the mental health portrayal and I needed to see how the psychopathy of the villains has been handled more recently. That held up for me about halfway through, and then like my suspension of disbelief snapped 50,000 times in the second half. And like the actor's use of psychology kind of grated on me.
Robert De Niro looked like he didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But then again, that's De Niro in any movie nowadays. So
yeah, De Niro, like I didn't.
What the hell, man?
I couldn't believe that was him.
It might, you know what? You might have found out a conspiracy. Maybe it's a digital copy of him. I couldn't get him to say his lines.
Yeah, so that's the on the line point for me with Batman. From like I can take it seriously to I start trailing off.
Well, at least we don't have any 0 out of 5 so far, so that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, just wait.
I'll get to you, Oreo.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna let her finish.
Joker's on the line. That's probably a 3 stars in Batman for me. With Gotham higher, more 4 or 5, and
Stellar.
Returns and Forever my favorites, and the art gallery scene within the first Batman being 5 stars, but the rest of the movie kind of meh and 3 stars.
Stellar.
I also watched The Killing Joke because that's an important disability portrayal for Barbara Gordon getting shot by Joker. And they give her a great half hour before she gets shot. And then afterwards they show like policemen injured in the line of duty, life carries on. So I love that it's not a disability tragedy. Her life's not over. But
it doesn't exploit her.
Except for the part where she jumps Batman's bones and wants to have sex with him on a rooftop. And that's like, no, you're a police chief's daughter. This is stupid.
But he's fucked every chick that he comes across.
Oh, yeah.
Batman does not say no, much like James Bond. Poor guy.
And then she's telling her gay friend, oh, this yoga class I'm in to cover up Batman, and the yoga teacher's awesome. And it just underscores she's weaker than him, and they spent half an hour setting up she can keep up with him, and then she decides to throw it away by being emotionally impulsive. And I think this is really men's gaze and not a real woman anymore.
Fair enough.
Feels very out of place in that story too.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. That's my least favorite part of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But they added so much, and I guess to balance it out and try to attract female fans, they kind of ruined Batman for everybody by
I'm with you,
setting up with.
They are pretty ballsy with their animation, but at the same time, some of them unfortunately are really just for the hardcore comic base, while others are more casual, very fun.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them spend too much time on the animation. You're like, the animation's great, I don't get the story. I'm lost.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is great acting, but the balance will lose people who usually watch Batman, and the people who don't usually watch Batman don't even know it's there. So it's a 2.5 that wants to be a 3.
1s out of 5s are the usual suspects.
Prequels for me are too dark. The prequels are a few shining moments, like blowing up the boat. Nolan's Batman are like technically very good and not fun for me personally to watch.
But wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more. I guess we'll just skip those for now. Anything that didn't get mentioned by Teresa sucks.
Did I get to mention Swamp Thing? Because I like...
Sure, anything. Again, if it's based on DC or Vertigo, it's fair game. So.
Whole DC, like Alan Moore, like ranked as Constantine's first Swamp Thing, then Return of Swamp Thing, and Watchmen, and then V for Vendetta. Because the V for Vendetta comic is good, but the movie is kind of a drag. I needed to go back and watch the Swamp Thing movies, and the first one is like really serious horror, and it still kind of traumatizes me. I think there's a fishing scene at the beginning and injuries.
Oh, yeah.
And that still impresses me for being good horror. When I want to be entertained, I'm more likely to go to Return of Swamp Thing for like the wrestling fighting.
It helps that the commentary by Jim Wynorski is also a hoot. So, yeah.
And those 2 kids in Return of Swamp Thing, aren't they hilarious?
Well, it's either that or looking at Heather Locklear. So there you go.
Oh, also that Heather Locklear's Abby talks to her plants. That's one of my favorite things in the DC universe. Like, can you talk to my plants? Because they will listen and they will care. While I'm out visiting my creepy, I have to grade it down a little bit for the creepy relationship between Abby and Swamp Thing. But
oh dear,
I like the spectacle creatures, and I like how wackadoo evil the mad scientists are. And then breaks for those kids talking about finding the monster and getting a photograph to make money.
Nice.
They're a great duo talking about eating ho-hos in the woods.
Jim Wynorski, man. Okay, so very nice. So, Dustin, I just feel your aura. I just know you've been waiting an eternity to talk. So I'm gonna let you stop talk.
I'm enjoying listening to everyone, but yeah, I don't have an exhaustive list.
Fucking time.
I don't have an exhaustive list, but I'll kind of run through the tops. Up at like 5 stars, I would definitely just like in general just put DC animation. They're not all 5-star worthy, but like they are the kind of the gold standard for like comic book to animation adaptations. So I think it's good to just highlight that.
They get a standing ovation at the very least.
History of Violence, David Cronenberg. Like people forget that that's DC, but it's Paradox Press, which is one of their divisions. Super powerful film. I've always loved it. Actually, the Batman I would throw up at number 5 and 5 stars. And like I know it's like very divisive for a lot of people, but I think the cool thing about Batman is we've had like so many different versions of him over the years that like you can do all these different films, and like there is different like takes on him that can be out there. Each one that's going to appeal to like different people in different ways. And for me, it totally is that like the Detective Comics like psychological angle. That's always what I've loved the most about Batman. So everything about that film was like hitting spot on for me.
1,000%.
Yeah. And then the other number 5, and this might get me ragged on a little bit. Actually going to say Aquaman. I quite loved it. I feel like to me, like when you think
where else are you going to see William Dafoe and Dolph Lundgren in a movie together?
Right. Isn't that crazy? And it's such a like fun spectacle. And I'm probably a little biased because I love James Wan and he's like all over that stylistically in his direction. But like to me, it's like the perfect like dumb actiony over the top comic book movie that if you just wanted to pick up a random issue and throw it on the film screen, Aquaman has that vibe, and I love it for that.
A non-torture porn movie.
Yeah. At 4s, I've got The Dark Knight. I mean, that's been talked about to death. I don't really need to say much about it. The Watchmen.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Watchmen, the film version. I enjoyed that adaptation. It's always been cool to me. Nothing much really else to say about that. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Huge improvement over the theatrical cut. I was actually impressed. I went into it like super cold and not expecting to like it, and I walked out quite surprised. And it's like if you've seen both, like anything you think's a weird thing about the theatrical one, there's like a better payoff or a better setup in the Snyder cut.
Yes.
Right.
And also my last 4 is V for Vendetta. I know that's another one too that gets ragged on a lot. I kind of just like the way they sort of updated it and made it fit like more modern politics of the day.
Yeah. One connection there to the Nolan movies, by the way.
Oh yeah, true.
Wachowskis directed the escape sequence of Batman Begins. And
oh yeah,
they got offered this DC movie. Well, and behold, it has so many parallels to 1984 and The Matrix, and it's definitely one of the few where I read the comic before seeing the movie. And here's a fun fact: we were seeing like an edited for content DVD, and we accidentally fast forwarded, and we saw V's death, and we're like, wait a minute, something's not making sense. Oh, we skipped 7 chapters somehow. Okay, we better restart the damn thing.
But I feel like it's not as good as the comic, and it's never gonna be. I don't think there was ever a way you could make it be the comic. But it's cool because you have these like 2 different versions, and it's both the same like kernel of the story, but they're each doing a different thing.
The villain gets less screen time. V gets more screen time in the movie, and then but it also doesn't have as much of the sexual material, and it has more just showing what a Holocaust London has become.
Yeah. Let's see. At 3 stars, I've got Doom Patrol. I think that's been about my favorite of the like TV live action stuff.
Cursing robot Brendan Fraser.
It's been super fun. I love it for bringing Brendan Fraser back into the screen. Hope we see more of him in the future.
I saw others who said that was the first movie or show they saw Timothy Dalton in. I'm like, no way, for real. Well, yeah, James Bond's pretty good as a mad scientist with a heart.
Oh yeah. Other 3 stars. The Constantine film. It's nothing like what Constantine is, but it is super fun. So I love it for that.
Just going on the script, man.
Underrated gem.
The Swamp Thing films, they're both, plenty of problems with them, but they're super fun. It's hard not to love them.
Oh yeah.
This is also kind of where I put like the classic Superman films, and I know that's like sacrilege probably to a lot of people, but my thing is like when you watch those, they are well made. There's no like question about that. Maybe the later
ones got ripped off in time travel movies.
Yeah, but it's like when you think about them as like Superman stories, there's really like he almost never throws a punch half the time. He kind of just shows up. They can't do anything to him, and then like he does like the frost breath, or people just give up, and And Man of Steel's got a lot of problems too, but I think like to actually theatrically see him going all out against someone the way they filmed it, to see like that was like the comics realized for me. And I realized when I saw Man of Steel, like that was a thing that always bothered me about the earlier Superman movies. Another 3-star to shout out, Legends of Tomorrow. Of the CW stuff that's like directly theirs, I think that's been the best to me, especially early on. I guess just like the whole like upbeat time travel adventure stuff was super fun. But in general, like most of those CW shows are kind of a miss for me. Just the mix of it being like the daytime drama,
very cheap soap operas,
usually weighs it down. Some 2 stars. I put all the CW shows here pretty much. Like they are doing cool things, but it's just not for me. Superman Returns.
Ow! I forgot about that. Oh my god!
It kind of perpetuates my issues with the earlier ones, where it's like here you've got Superman and there's not a lot going on. To me anyways. Birds of Prey. I really wanted to like Birds of Prey, but it's kind of messy, I think, in the sense of things.
This is the fun, guys. We're getting different takes.
Suicide Squad. I would love to see like that original cut. I don't think we'll ever get that, but this is one of those ones where it's like on the razor's edge for me of like, I can see where it could be a good film.
It's like going to be on the list of most requested director's cuts along with Horizon and Predator 2.
I mean, somehow we got the Snyder cut, so who knows? Hold out hope. And also, this might also be an upsetting one too. I'm going to put DMZ. Just because like, is it well made? I'm going to say yeah, but if you've read the comics, like I wanted that comic as a show.
Fair enough. I'm sure they took liberties.
Oh yeah, they took major liberties.
I was just stunned by Benjamin Bratt because there's an actor who for years has tried to avoid doing gangland, type roles, and finally got a meaty role.
And I've noticed that too. Like among my friends that have seen it, if they haven't read the comic, they really dug the show. And I don't know, it's cool that the idea is out there at least. And like
the first episode was pretty slow. I will give you that. 1 star. It's a lot of the usual suspects. The standalone Catwoman film, Green Lantern. Okay, I'm gonna do this one too. I think like for me, the Gotham show doesn't work. I just was waiting for it. I was waiting.
Yeah, here we go. These are gonna be the painful ones, I think.
The first season is kind of schlocky. I'll get.
Yeah, the first season like really killed it for me with just the it's so cheesy, and then like
Fish Mooney. Do you think it was slow to build up use of Fish Mooney to be a good villain?
Probably, yeah. And my other thing about it too, like I said earlier, it's cool that there's all these different versions of Batman you can have, but I don't think I ever wanted a version of Batman where like his villain cast will be geriatric by the time he's Batman. And I don't know, it's always been a big turnoff. I've not been able to hop over with that show.
Oh, good.
I don't think it really kicks in until about the third season.
Yeah, season 1 and 2 are a blur, and then season 3 for 5 are just like nonstop, like man. I'm taking back my city, motherfucker.
Like Fish Mooney has some moments, but Bruce isn't ready to be.
Anyway, if you were Jim Gordon,
conflict
if you were Jim Gordon and Marina Buchanan was your, fiance, you do stupid things too, guaranteed.
But I think that's a big investment, like 3 seasons in, to get the ball rolling.
Fair enough.
The Batman serials, like they're cool as this like piece of history that exists, but there's no real point to watch them. And then I'm gonna throw down Lucifer and Preacher as well. Like both of those two, it's just a matter of like what the comic is to what the show became. It really missed it for me because I was wanting that comic thing.
Lucifer gets better by season 2, but I will give you that. When season 1, it's a pretty shitty Jerry Bruckheimer cop show in that first season.
So I think that's me. If anything, like I stepped over like Batman, like the other Nolan films, I think they're great.
Schumacher.
The earlier Batmans, like the first one's pretty good for what it is. I like some of the craziness of Batman Returns, but I don't think it's a very good film. Yeah, sorry.
It's all good. This is the fun.
I mean, I had the biggest kid crush on Catwoman after Batman Returns, but
David E. Kelly's a lucky man.
The villains are bigger than Batman in that one, I think.
Yeah, and that was a thing that Burton said, I believe. That
for Batman
as a Christopher Walken fan, he does not seem to know what movie he's in.
I'm pretty sure in an interview once Burton said he had like no interest in Batman and cared everything about the villains. So that tracks. Yeah, I think that's me.
Perfect. No 0 out of 5s. It's pretty good.
No, I mean they've at least tried with everything they've done. So.
We're gonna have some 0 out of 5s when we get to Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
Morbius, you are a 0 out of 5. Anyway, so I will let Matt go next.
All right. Well,
all right. Take this out of you, ooh, baby.
Let me stretch out here because I'm going to do something a bit different. I'm going to start
Mr.
at
Fantastic.
the bottom.
Wrong comic, my man.
I'm going to start at the bottom of the barrel.
From the top to the bottom.
And we're going to end on some high notes. So we'll get the absolute dog shit out of the way.
Get the garbage out of the way, flush it down, and then rechlorinate the water. Perfect.
Yes, sir. First of all, not only worst DC movie. Oh, and I'm going to preface this with all of mine are going to be movies. I'm awful. I'm a movie guy. I suck at watching shows. I have seen a lot of the DC shows, but it feels unfair to rank them among these. So bottom, not only the worst DC movie, I would argue one of the worst movies ever made is called Batman and Harley Quinn. That was garbage. I hate every frame of that movie, every syllable spoken, the gall that it has to exist. I hate that movie. Okay. Not yet.
I don't think I've ever seen this.
It's an animated one.
It advertises itself as a return to the Batman, like the animated series universe, and it just does everything wrong.
It was some weird comedian, right?
Yeah, I think she was like on The Big Bang Theory. I can't remember her name. Who replaced the Harley Quinn voice actress? Yeah, she's bad. No, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. She's bad as Harley Quinn. Don't like her. The movie's garbage. Don't waste your time.
So you don't like the animated series either?
I love the animated series. This felt like it took the animated series and just stuck its head down a toilet and gave it a swirly for an hour and a half.
So you were discombobulated by the edits and everything. Okay.
Just the animation looks like it was done in a preschool Flash. It's unfair to have this be in the canon.
Is it more
I
the
love
art
the
style or
art
how
style.
they pace the story?
The budget just isn't there. They did not give all the
cheap animation.
It's very cheap animation. If characters can be standing still, they will be. So, just I'm not going to go so in depth on all of these, but just other 1 out of 5s. Batman and Robin, obviously. Suicide Squad, obviously.
No,
Green
it's
Lantern.
not obvious. Margot Robbie.
Green Lantern. Batman, Death of the Family. It's like a cool concept. You can do a choose your own adventure. They put it on HBO Max. Straight up doesn't work on HBO Max.
I know. I had to buy the motherfucker.
Yeah, so that's why it's a 1 out of 5.
But it was worth to buy, though. I like the ultimate.
Yeah, Under the Red Hood will be much higher on the list. I love that movie. I was really looking forward to it.
Jensen Ackles, we're still waiting on you, baby.
Yep.
Live action adaptation.
Another just dog water, Birds of Prey, and the ridiculously long title, Harley Quinn, blah, blah, blah.
Birds of Prey.
Batman Forever, Batman the Killing Joke, and 2017's Justice League. Those are just the worst of the worst.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yo,
going
mama.
in.
Now, children, we should be kind to each other.
Shut up, Granddad. I'm having an argument.
Okay, nice. Keep going.
We got our 2 out of 5s. We got Batman Ninja, Batman Bad Blood.
You're not alone. My pal Tony Dustin, who is a huge Batman fan, he wishes he could be the motherfucker. Every character he writes in a movie script is basically Batman or the Punisher, but without his jingoistic, nihilistic style. And he bought that fucking Blu-ray. He came over to watch it at my house. My pal Cloyce really liked it because it reminded him of Samurai Jack. And meanwhile, him and my sister are like, what the fuck is this garbage?
It was so bad.
And I was like, the animation's good, but yeah, the plot lost me. It was like a bad Vampire Hunter D Onimusha episode. What the fuck? Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah. We got Batman versus Robin, the Injustice movie.
Yeah, that's good.
Batman versus Two-Face, the 1966 Batman movie.
Shut as Two-Face.
Justice League War, Batman 1989. And that's it for my 2s. Those are like, they're not as bad. They have some redeeming qualities.
Instagram, but no, seriously, go ahead. What are the frees, my man? What are the 3.5s out of 5s?
All right, we got our 3s. These are just like middle of the road.
Shit.
They're absolutely.
We don't respect anything you have to say. No, go ahead.
We got Wonder Woman 1984, Justice League Doom, Superman Batman Public Enemies, Batman Begins, Son of Batman, Batman Returns, Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Batman The Dark Knight Returns Part 1, Batman The Long Halloween Part 2, Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
That was
Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox, Batman versus Superman, Joker, Wonder Woman, and yeah, those are just middle of the road. Perfectly, they're fine. They're all good, not great.
You're fine.
Now we're getting good. We got Batman, The Long Halloween Part 1, Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, The Dark Knight Rises, The Suicide Squad, Shazam, Dark Knight Returns Part 2.
Yes.
All right.
Awesome.
Now, I want you guys to buckle your seatbelts because these are
hot takes.
These are the 9 and 10s out of 10s and 5 out of 5s. These are all phenomenal.
These are the
movies.
10s out of 5s.
Yes, these are the 10s out of 5s. The Batman, the Lego Batman movie, Batman Mask of the Phantasm,
Hell yeah.
Batman
yes.
Under the Red Hood, and number 1, not only my favorite DC movie, but one of my favorite movies of all time, The Dark Knight, obviously.
Very cool. Mask of the Phantasm. We're all bastards. I knew we forgot something.
I knew. I kept waiting for you guys to say Mask of the Phantasm. That movie was phenomenal.
Oh, shit. Only saw it once. 3.5 out of 5. All right, cool. All right. Well, nice. So I'm the only guy who's mentioned Red, and Teresa mentioned Constantine. Everyone else is pretty much just like, fuck it. If it's not DC, fuck it.
Red is the one with Bruce Willis.
That's not my DC.
Yeah, it's part of an imprint, but Red.
Yeah, I don't feel like Red is very DC either.
Yeah, that was Wildstorm, right?
It feels like a heist movie. What's the superheroes in Red?
Yeah, I think it was by one of the same guys who did Wanted or something like that, and they edged it down to where the people they kill aren't political affiliates. They're all just thieves and spies.
Well, I was looking at the list of the shows, and isn't The Boys technically under their properties as well?
It's weird.
So I was like, do I include that?
You could if you want to.
It doesn't like
6
feel
issues were
DC.
DC. And then
It doesn't feel DC, you know?
Well, that's fine. Like, when we do Marvel, I'm going to include Conan the Barbarian since that was the current distributor. But yeah, there's plenty of these that is like, they don't got the general flow, but they just were the distributor at that time. Same thing with League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and Tank Girl was also another dark horse at one point, and it's just confusing. So it is what it is. But Chase, I'll let you go next.
Yeah. All right. So,
Mr. Anderson.
That's me.
Cup and tickle.
Yeah. I've got to prepare you guys for a little bit of a. So I don't know if this was maybe my OCD or something here, but I went really like IMDb style, like 2.7, 4.9, like very specific. And I also
God damn
bear with me. Bear with me here, and this is like roughly 40 movies or so. Oh
god damn.
So I'm gonna try to the downside here. So I'm saying bear with me is I maybe for some dumb reason went chronologically instead of lumping them together. So I'm gonna try to scroll kind of back and forth through my list here.
As long as you don't get repetitive like Tommy Wiseau.
Right. And I'll try not to. I may accidentally repeat something, but I'll do my best not to. And
he did it again.
As long as you don't rush like I did.
Right.
Built it out.
So let's start at the top and go down. So for my I'll just kind of group them together. I'll say sort of like the high fours, like 4.5 to 5s. Let's start there. So I've got. Here we go. I've got Batman and Batman Returns, and let's see. Also, and here's a little weird thing about Batman. Even like the shittier ones, like the Schumacher.
I just put it out there, like the shittier ones.
Spoiler alert. That's
which ones are those?
It was my dad took me to see Batman. I think it was around or not long after my parents got divorced, and I was only I guess I would have been about 5 years old at the time. And just coincidentally, my dad happened to take me to I think Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. It may have stopped after that. But I only saw my dad like 2-3 times a year on average. So for that to have worked out the way that it did is just a really bizarre kind of thing. And my dad and I used to do like make like little models, and he would buy me like the Batmobiles and all the different like Bat vehicles.
Man, he's a collector.
So I did this as a kid. So even like the shittier ones that I am still ranking them, I think appropriately, they're a little lower on the scale here, but there's still, I guess, some part of nostalgia like will bring me back to something like Batman and Robin, and I'll watch it just to kind of laugh at it, not because I think it's a good movie, but I think it's still fun and enjoyable to kind of return to something like that occasionally. But so anyways, all right, let's get through let's see, between 4.5 and 5. I've also got Dark Knight Rises up there at the top. I've got Dark Knight is way up there at the top for me. I think for obvious reasons, as a lot of people would say the
No,
same thing,
it's not. Nukes under a city. Totally believable.
Not Dark Knight Rises, just Dark Knight.
Okay.
But let me see here. Oh God, Lego Batman. I loved it. Took my daughter to see it.
Will Arnett, man.
We got a lot of laughs out of that. And I thought Zach Galifianakis' Joker was hilarious.
Makes you wonder almost if the original Lego movie or if Hollywood Land count as Batman movies because or Superman movies because Channing Tatum and Ben Affleck technically play Batman in those. So.
Oh yeah.
Hurts your head.
Crazy. Then I've got the Suicide Squad. I can't talk. The Suicide Squad as ranked pretty highly too. Make sure you put the in front.
The Peacemaker comedy origin story. Okay, got it.
And I love Peacemaker. I also rank that up there. That's between a 4.5 and a 5 for me as well. Okay, so now let's get to low fours. I've got
it's
the
been
Batman.
84 years.
What else is a low?
Be nice. You'll get your moment.
I do have the Dark Knight Rises as a low 4. To be specific, 4.2.
That's understandable.
And let's see here.
Break your back rating.
Okay, so yeah, that looks like it in the 4s. So I guess we'll go from between 3.5 and 4. I've got. I do apologize for this being in order as its release year. Not.
No need to apologize. I'm the only editor here.
So Constantine, I know it is kind of dumb. I can agree with I think most people's opinion of that movie, but I think it's still, like I said, it's just fun. Sometimes you go back to a movie just because it's fun, but even if it is a little stupid and it's a little
waiting for
wonky,
that sequel that got announced. It's coming back, so we might do like you say,
that's crazy.
They might do what they did with the Suicide Squad, where they bring the cast back, but they do a totally different take on the character.
Let's say Watchmen is a high 3, and I would also say I actually maybe like the HBO series a little bit better, so I would probably, but I'd put them. Yeah, I'm good for different reasons though. Style wise, the movie maybe a little better. Story wise, I know people give it a hard time for being woke or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I don't like that. Doesn't bother. Like I don't. I mean,
people don't know what the fuck woke is.
Right. What is political correctness? Everything. So, just say you do or don't.
I mean, I think it has. If a movie has a good message to it, I mean, sometimes that. I'm not saying that that's all that matters, but sometimes that kind of rubs you in a little bit, into it. So let's see, high threes. Red, again, doesn't feel very DC, but it's an enjoyable movie. So that's
you don't get a Batman layer from some of these assassins.
The Losers. I don't know if I've heard anybody mention The Losers. That is
I keep forgetting that's a DC.
That is I almost had to ask. I'm like, wait, am I wrong here? But no. So that's again pretty enjoyable. Man of Steel, and I think it was who was it? Was it Dustin that I might be agreeing? I can't remember who.
Him.
Yep. That's me.
Didn't you say, or who was it that was saying that like it was kind of the first time you get to actually really see Superman fight on screen? Yeah, that was you, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So that same thing for me, because I'm not. This is a hot take here. Please don't come for me, but I'm not a huge Superman fan just because of the. It's just. I don't know. It just always for me as a kid when I was really into comic books, he just seemed too over the top and too perfect, and and I think I just for some reason just kind of latched on to more characters like the Batman, darker, grittier, Swamp Thing, stuff like that. I might give that that's between 3.5 and 4, and then so that's. Wait, make sure I'm not missing one.
No ones or zeros, man.
No, I was messed up. I would put Tank Girl there. I think maybe that's a typo. I think I put a 2, but I meant to put a 3 because I don't think that I definitely think higher
Ice-T,
than Ice-T, right. and it's not and again it's not like it's this amazing. Oh my God, wow, this is perfect,
more of a Punisher type movie
making, by typical movie making standards or whatever. But kudos to its feminist theme, and it was refreshing to see this like lead female anti-establishment sort of anti-hero kind of thing, which
Barbed Wire is too.
I think a little more. Yeah, true.
Lori Petty is just badass.
But and I love the sort of the feeling, because I think I was maybe approaching middle school age. So for me, this had this kind of like MTV kind of vibe, like throughout the whole. And maybe that has to do with the soundtrack.
Definitely.
But and I just laugh at I want to call them dog people, but it was Australia, right? So they're probably like kangaroo.
They're kangaroos.
They look like they look like something straight out of like Whoville.
It was a Pulverhoven political satire mixed in with.
I feel like the costume department from How the Grinch Stole Christmas went to this set and was like, "Hey, do you still have those prosthetic noses?
Oh, 100%.
We need them for our movie."
Yeah, it's either that or trimmers. We need your effects crew.
So I mean, there's some things that look really ridiculous, but I mean, it looked great for the time. I mean, it's not like it was that far out of its, it's definitely a shame that this movie didn't recover its budget, which is insane to me. But definitely underrated. Okay, so where are we at? And we're getting into the twos now, right? All right, so this is where we're not only just some hot takes, but maybe some extra spicy takes.
Controversial. Capital C.
Our 2.5 to 3. I've got in that realm here. We've got a 66 Batman, campy as hell, but still fun to kind of go back and watch. It's let's see. The Supermans for me are low twos, but I'll get into that in a second here. I did really like Swamp Thing in the horror theme, and that was actually around, well, it came out before I was born, I believe, but I can't remember the year. Does anybody remember the year?
82.
82. I was born in 84. Okay. So but I think I first watched it at maybe age like 5 or so. 5 or 6. That was I was exposed to horror movies a little too young. Not that this is straight up horror, but yeah, I mean, I was a big fan of anything Jason or Michael or Freddy or Chucky or like you name it. But I was big into that kind of stuff by the time I hit like 7 years old or so. Let's see. Return of the Swamp Thing again. Still, it's dumb as hell, but it's fun to go back and watch.
He takes himself apart into algae and puts himself back together.
That is the best description of Swamp Thing too that's ever been done.
Love
and
it.
so wild how the stuntman guy played him in both those movies and the '90s show on USA.
It's actually.
It's a suit on fire.
I had some Swamp Thing comics as a kid, but I think some of them may have even been Alan Moore. But just kind of like, and I'm not a fan of the newer Swamp Thing that came out, but it's kind of like darker sort of aesthetic. And I think what it was maybe trying to do, it kind of made me want to go back and read and refamiliarize. So I don't.
Even Marvel
if I'm
doesn't talk about its
if I'm going to give it any
thing.
credit, it's not, it's not because it's good, but it's because it kind of like inspired. I just haven't maybe found time, but it's kind of inspired me to want to go back and, and read more of the Swamp Thing story. But
you love the characters.
Yeah. So it just kind of brought it back, for me, I guess, if you will. And let's see. High twos. Jonah Hex, again, dumb movie, but
I forgot about
it's
Jonah.
funny.
It's
got some funny lines in it. Like there's just something it's just
the producers of Crank.
And it was it came out at this time when I think a lot of, even on the Marvel side, like sort of like the the boom, it was like mid 2000s, or it just kind of hit like a weird spot where I think a lot of comic book movies, especially if they weren't like a huge property, like obviously like your Batman knew where he was going, Iron Man knew where he was going at the time, but some of these kind of movies were just in this weird kind of space, and it, again, not a good movie, but it's funny. There's a lot. Some of the dialogue is just dumb and you know, but it's good.
Jonah
stuff,
Hex
you know,
could have been
good
an
fun.
underrated gem if they hadn't fucked the story up so badly.
Yeah, and I knew nothing of Jonah Hex going into it, so that's why. So it just didn't bother me much, I guess. But
I am glad you brought that one up.
I can't believe we all forgot this one. I had them all listed. I seriously did. I'm like, I'm forgetting something. What am I forgetting about? It
and then Birds of Prey. That's kind of falls in the mid twos for me.
So mean.
Yeah, I just Aquaman. No, Aquaman's in the twos.
It's all good.
I like it. I think. I mean, it's nothing against like James Wan. I think the style
Something
of it. I think with
fishy
how. I think
I know what you mean.
How much CGI was needed. I think they did a good job with it overall because that's like. I mean, you're trying to hit like Avatar levels of just shit that's not in the real world. And just having to make up the entire
it looks
environment,
like a video game,
like 100. Yeah, it doesn't look great, but I mean, I think considering what they had to do and the budget they had to do it with, it still works. It's still enjoyable. I could go back and rewatch it. For me, I could go back and rewatch pretty much anything that's 2 and up. I'm willing to go back and rewatch.
I will give them
points. If it's kind of like below that, then I'm like, I'm probably not going to revisit. But
in all fairness, Jango Fett was his dad, so that is pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Nicole Kidman is badass as always. So
yeah. I agree, and I don't have any problems with. Like I said, it's not like just specific characters. It's kind of like
It was a different hero for you.
Yeah. It was, and I've got nothing against Aquaman or whatever. I do have pretty high hopes for the second one. I think it does have a higher budget, correct?
It blows your mind.
Everybody knows this, but
I believe it. But it blows your mind when you realize Jason Momoa was already Aquaman years ago on Stargate Atlantis.
Oh, I didn't know.
I was watching it with family one time. My brother was in town. He's like, "Is that fucking Aquaman?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is first breakout role."
I did not know that. No. Oh wow. Okay.
Your watch list just grew bigger.
Where are we at? We're in the 1-star rating.
We're in the ones, right? The inevitable negative ones.
Oh no!
I'm losing track from having to scroll up and down so many times.
As long as Pennyworth isn't on this list, it's right.
Pennyworth.
I actually haven't seen Pennyworth. And before I reveal a lot of these 1-star, I actually want to say I am not super familiar with the a lot of the animation other than the 90 was it 93 series Batman series animated series. Big fan of that. So I also love the 94 X-Men series too. But
I love X-Men.
So I left a lot of that out, and I left a lot of the shows out because I just cannot get into the CW series for some reason, like any of them.
Acting.
And about that, maybe. Yeah,
there's plenty of reasons.
And then Gotham, I did kind of enjoy, and I just. The only reason I didn't think it was fair to add it anywhere in the list was because it was kind of the show that it was like I wanted to know what was going on, but I didn't always care enough. So it would be like the show that I put on to fall asleep to. So I would see bits and pieces. Like it would just be the thing that I just turned on like late at night, and I'm just like, you know what? Whatever. It's on. If I see something I like, and it did have its good moments. But so anyways. I guess without further ado, here's the really hot takes here on some of these 1-stars.
God, here we go.
Yeah, I know some of y'all are.
It's a steamer.
All right,
Cleveland steamer.
I've got one.
Oh, don't say that. We don't want any sports trash talk.
It just, I don't know if it just started out just really cartoonish for me and just didn't something seemed like it was undoing what the first one did, which was setting up a more empowering kind of vibe, and then they turn to this more like romance thing between Trevor and her, and it just something just fell off, and I was like, it almost seems like they're backtracking and they're just trying to make this more accessible to more. I don't know. It didn't work for me. I don't know.
Mommy.
I would say to be specific here, 1.2 for Justice League. And I only see. I know this is where people are going to get pissed off with me.
I love how you just pulled a Chang from the community. Accurate.
But 1.4 for Justice League Snyder Cut.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, see, I know somebody. I know probably most of you are going to be upset about that. But to me, it's like it's marginally better. Like it's not like it's. I appreciate that we got.
It's the length that's intimidating.
That's why you pull a miniseries.
I appreciate.
Next week
I think this would have worked much better as a miniseries. Oh yeah, I would.
Well, originally it was going to be 2 films, right? So
yeah,
but I mean, even if you split this into 2 movies and like just watch them, just like cut it in the middle and watch them, like that's what I had to do. I couldn't sit down for 4 hours basically.
3 hours, 57 minutes.
I just love how they gave William Dafoe Gandalf hair at that point.
No, it's 242 minutes. I just looked it up.
Yeah, it's
not cut up. I subtract the credits.
That's 4 hours. Well,
credits do not count.
So 3 hours and 45 minutes.
There's nothing after the credits.
But if I'm being honest, I would rather watch someone eat 242 bags of Snyder's pretzels than.
Ouch!
Nice.
God damn!
All right.
It just doesn't do enough for me.
It's all good. This is the fun of it.
This is. I know I was gonna upset somebody here. If not most of you. Suicide Squad. Again, that's low ones for me. Green Lantern is low ones. Superman Returns, that's low ones.
He got redeemed in Crisis on Infinite Earths, don't worry.
I haven't seen that.
Let's see here.
God damn it.
Catwoman's a low one. That Joker. But that was high. That was like mid 4s for me. But
alrighty, Joe, you have the floor.
Sure. All right. So 2 of my high points, I guess they'd be 5s, would be any like I guess the combined Bruce Timm DC animated universe, like Batman animated series,
the alternative
Superman.
Universe. Yeah.
I mean, this is like, before like Marvel built up to the shared universe. This
and
is
after
where
the Valverde universe.
This is where this is the first time I think it was really done right. I guess unless you count like the like Universal Monsters and stuff, but like everything building up to Justice League and Justice League Unlimited was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And then stuff since then not as great, but like so much cool stuff happened in Justice League, and I can rewatch those series over and over again. And then and I'm not the first person to mention it, but disappointingly few people,
and not the last.
So, but not enough. The question I have is, do you really want to taste it? I mean, I enjoyed the Suicide Squad a lot, but then Peacemaker just took it to a whole other level of like the second I finished watching Peacemaker, I had to go back and rewatch the Suicide Squad, and then I had to rewatch Birds of Prey, and then I thought about watching the original Suicide Squad and didn't. But it just elevated everything.
The only connection is the Viola Davis cameo, and she just says "fuck" for 1 minute, so that's funny.
So those are, I guess, some of my tops. Another one that are, I guess, 2 going way back that I don't think I've heard mentioned yet are the Fleischer Superman shorts.
Those are really good.
I mean, like every still from that looks like an amazing painting that like Alex Ross wishes he had done. And like they're just like, bite-sized bits of perfection, and like I put them on for my kids and even they enjoy them. And
sweet.
I mean, there's the occasional racism and stuff like that in them, but we skip those.
As best you can.
Kind of like similar time frame, the Captain Marvel serial from, was it like 41 or something like that?
Something, yes.
Oh man, you've got the good deep cuts.
Yeah.
I put that like, I mean,
Or shall we say the B-side
like
of the
any
album?
superhero serials, I'd put that like head and shoulders above the others. It's got cool special effects, and the flying was pretty well done and everything. And I guess the plan had originally been for that to be a Superman serial, and then they lost the rights and quickly did Captain Marvel. And
those damn companies, man.
Yeah. I had a kind of a little trio of Road to Perdition, History of Violence, and Stardust.
Yeah.
Wait. Stardust is based on a DC comic?
Yeah, DC was the first to publish
it. So in that case, Tales from the Hood better be based on one.
I wish. Oh, fuck, I wish. I love that, man.
Got to be better than those awful sequels. God.
I do like the new one.
Part 3 with Candyman was pretty cool, but that part 2, oh my God. Keep going.
I like those for showing the variety that of DC output. Which I mean, I love Marvel's movies, but after a while they start to feel kind of formulaic.
Yeah.
And there's like the same company published DC or like Batman the Animated Series comics.
Oh, don't say that to a Marvel fan.
History of Violence.
Break out. I'm gonna kill somebody.
We've got a totally wild card.
Keep going.
Because the Sandman Netflix show isn't out yet, but I'm currently listening to the Sandman audiobook. The Sandman one work is they got Neil Gaiman in as the narrator, and so
nice.
like if you've listened to his other audiobooks, it fits in nicely with those.
That's cool.
And
you don't mind that you can't see anything?
Snap!
It doesn't. So it's like I listen to them while I'm driving in my car, and unfortunately, I can't. I at least shouldn't be reading comics while I'm driving. So.
Oh yeah.
True.
This is the next.
So you were the
there's
pile
your
up on
bonus.
Interstate 34.
Yes.
Distracting with art.
Damn it! I wonder why that car looked familiar.
I had to read the new Moon Knight, so it was all.
And then said I can't, and then was like, "Well, I shouldn't, but I have."
All right, so
back to DC.
This is back to DC. This would be one of my 1 stars, Green Lantern, but it's like clearly when they did that, they were trying to kind of replicate Iron Man and launch their universe at the time, and it was just a colossal failure.
Yeah, that animation super shit.
Yes.
The story was okay. The suit, no.
I think that the best non-Marvel movie is the Aquaman movie. It hits the right notes. I think it does what Green Lantern wishes it could have done, like the kind of balance of goofy and fun.
Yep.
And it's like, so I'm excited for that sequel. I mean, that's not going to be the Aquaman movie's not one of my 5 stars, but it's 3.5.
Let's pray it's Amber Heard free.
Yes, I'm curious. She said that her role is cut down. I'd be curious to see how much.
We want to see Aquaman in love. We want to see Aquaman, in a kingdom.
A couple other TV shows. I love the Watchmen TV series. It's I'm generally down on Alan Moore adaptations, and because it's every time there's kind of Weasley, I think if the writers and directors are I think if you watch this one, you'd appreciate it. And it's no, he's not. But there was an interview with what's his name? Lindelof when the Watchmen TV series came out, and he kind of addressed that, and he's everyone's always trying to get him to like it, and it's I'm just gonna say fuck Alan Moore. And it's which I don't agree with that sentiment, but I feel Alan Moore would appreciate that more than, I think he might like our adaptation of V for Vendetta or whatever. It's if you just approach it with the the attitude of, well, Alan Moore would hate this no matter what, so we'll just try it. And it's like, I think that of anything that's tried to be done with his work, that was the best. Although
you guys really should try Constantine TV.
I'm with you.
You didn't watch Constantine TV because of the movie. I haven't seen the movie. I'll have to see the movie and see what you're talking about with Constantine not being a good movie.
I can understand the love for Constantine. I can also understand the thing for Watchmen. It just was one of those. I liked how it had parallels to actual, riots in history and wrongs by whites against blacks. But I just thought it was a less successful Lovecraft country, in my opinion. But I can see why many dug it and why they got the brutal vibe. And so that's interesting that Lindelof went that way, because at this point he's just tired of answering questions about Lost and Alien. He's just like, fuck everyone, watch my shit or don't.
The City of Demons was really fucking good.
And I feel like no matter what, like the Watchmen series made a lot of people aware of the Tulsa race massacre.
Yeah,
that's right.
Stuff that they're not teaching in school anymore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like, so if nothing else, it brought that into public awareness. That's a big plus.
Yeah, definitely. And it follows the original ending of the comic itself.
Yeah. I like that it was a sequel to the comic rather than the film.
And it gave Louis Gossett Jr. some work, so that's good.
Yes. And then another series, I really like the Doom Patrol series.
Yes.
It's fully embraces the weirdness of Grant Morrison work, and like in the first season, there's the when Negative Man is trying to get pulled up on stage to sing "People Like Us."
Yeah.
And then it goes into the sort of fantasy, and then it cuts back to him just be like, no, I'm not going to do it. And it's like, oh, it was so heartbreaking, but so great. And it's like, one of my favorite, that is one of my favorite DC live action moments, I think.
Yeah.
And all right, that's my stuff. I'm not going to,
that's your shtick.
There's plenty of other, worse, there are other good ones, but it's been covered. You guys have done that well. So those are my thoughts, I think.
Awesome. Oreo.
Come taste this double stuffed goodness, boy.
All right. No more puns that I'm going to have to cut out unless we want an explicit rating.
Well, I mean, explicit's the way to fucking go. That's how I roll.
No. I don't want to be listed taboo.
Oh my goodness! All right, y'all.
Even though we talk about everything on here, can't go a single word without the word being thrown around.
I'm only gonna do 5 of them because I have the long fucking list, but I'll just stick with 5. All right, God tier. I'm torn between the Batman and Zack Snyder's Justice League, because when I watch DC flicks, I see them unfold as a comic, because that's all I've read all my life is comics. I've been reading comics since 2000.
Reading books are hard.
Yeah. Like me, I'm like, no, seriously. I like audiobooks more than reading an actual fucking book.
Even better.
Because the narrator really sucks you in, and you hear the voice talents in your head as he's reading them to you. And it's like, fuck, that's beautiful. And it helps.
Nice.
So, torn between them two. If I had to go for 4 stars,
Okay.
I know it's hard because there's so many choices, but I would go with Death in the Family interactive movie, because I like them alternate endings. There's so many choices with that, and I wish they would expand them. No, I don't think Death in the Family's a game. You're thinking of Gotham Knights, probably. Or no.
Maybe that or Injustice. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh.
Go ahead, Java.
I'm trying.
Oh God. Okay, please.
All right, number 3, 3 stars. I would have to give that to Superman Unbound. But yeah, I first watched it, I liked it, then I didn't like it. Then I rewatched it, I have a deeper appreciation for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds very manipulative.
Well, I mean, I went through a lot of bad shit, and that changed my whole perspective on things. So I learned to keep a more open mind. 2 stars. Oh fuck. What 2 stars? Let me see.
We'll just assume anything he doesn't mention is automatically a 1 out of 5 star.
Oh, give it time, motherfucker. Give it time. Yeah. 2 stars I would give to Superman Doomsday. Easily.
Oh,
For
yeah. That's the one with
yeah.
Adam Baldwin as Superman and Lance
Yeah.
Henriksen is like the voice of Darkseid, and you're like, what's going on?
And James Marsters is Lex Luthor in that too. So I like that. That's an underrated role to me for him. Like, that was a hell of an underrated role as Lex Luthor. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. 1 star rating. Can I give it 1 star too?
Everything else, fuck it all.
Well, I got 139 films I've watched, so it's like, fuck.
All right, just pick the one that caused you the most, to quote Mr. Science Theater, deep hurting. Just go with the one that you cannot find anything good to say about. You cannot rewatch. You can't even watch with the riff tracks. It's just bad. Is it going to be Catwoman or Batman and Robin? What's it going to be?
I would actually say, shit, what really pissed me off?
You might have to ask a question from the audience here. Matthew, Duncan, Teresa, what should he pick?
Batman and Harley Quinn.
Nah, I love
Do it.
No,
I love how he just wanted the Emperor voice over it. Do it now.
Do it.
And Justin's gonna do a Jedi mind trick on you. No, that's the wrong pick. Wrong pick, brother. Wrong pick.
I guess Justice League Dark, honestly. Like, it's good, but it's...
You and Teresa are tied with talking about Dark, and Chase, I think you mentioned Dark.
Well, I mean, like, I like a lot
it.
of good things. I like it, but it's not.
How have
as
I
good
not
as,
seen this? Jesus.
It's not as good as Constantine City of Demons.
We all revisited our pastors, so I feel like this is a fun, productive session. I'm gonna let you guys all plug whatever you guys got on social media and your respective podcasts, if any. So feel free. Anyone? Justin, Duncan, Matthew?
I'll go ahead. My podcast is Genre Exposure. We do deep dives on films. We usually pick a topic to run along with. We just love to explore movies, talk about them, go crazy, researching them and digging in, doing all that kinds of fun stuff. You can find us at genreexposure.com. We're on all the social medias. We just love film, love talking about it, all that good stuff.
My name is Duncan. I'm from GDT Podcast. You can find us anywhere, Apple, Spotify, all the free ones by searching GDT. Stands for Good Data Pod, and we talk about movies we love, and we also interview independent filmmakers. So the good part about our podcast is we got 4 episodes a week, so hopefully there's something for everyone there. On Fridays, we got that full-length episode where, like I said, we have interviews with people who are in the industry who are making movies, which is really cool.
We might have to exchange contacts.
Yes,
Like,
I can
here's
point
the
some people your way.
stuntman. Give me
Oh no,
that.
I got some people who love talking about their stuff, and they've made some really cool stuff that I know would love to talk to you. So absolutely, let me know, because I'd love to share them, and they'd love to talk about it too.
Oh, the first question I always ask is, how do you get through the snobs who want every movie to look like Christopher Nolan when you're working on a $10,000 budget?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, and the crazy part is these people know how to make them look so good on that. I don't know how they do.
Oh, 1,000%.
Just so everyone knows, like for the superhero stuff, we also have a Tuesday series that is all Marvel MCU. So we're going through the MCU right now.
Yes,
so
you are.
hop on that if you're into.
That's why I invited you. I was
That's
like,
all. I know it's like perfect timing for this, and I'll be on the Marvel one as well. So I'm sure this will be releasing like right before that or whatever. But stay tuned for the Marvel episode on this podcast, because I know that we're all going to be getting real deep in on that.
Awesome.
Joe, do you have anything you want to promote?
Just my website, livelocalman.com. I've got movie reviews and commentary and criticism and weird randomness up there.
I couldn't tell. I'm just kidding. Yeah, you're awesome. And Teresa, this has been so much having you on here. What would you like to promote, if anything?
Well, thank you. I am an independent filmmaker. When I have a short film out later this fall, it will be
cool.
on my YouTube. It'll just be a short monologue. But I already have some like hour-long commentaries about movies I watched that I was streaming on Twitch, like monologuing and then playing some Toe Jam and Earl, talking about a movie over Toe Jam and Earl too. And I just have the monologues up at this point. I need to figure out the format for that show and redo it. But
it is a long creative process finding out what
there's some occasional funny stuff on there. And other than that, I'm Euphoria Fish on everything. And I'm also working with a nonprofit, Ability Corps. And we have a project, Ability E, that is a casting database for disabled talent for
how cool.
paid work.
Awesome.
Yeah, paid work in
That's
entertainment industry for disabled talent.
Sweet.
That is
both
very
union and
neat
non-union.
because there are just so many people who is like, it's kind of like how, you know, when minorities were just getting gangbanger roles, and then for a while it seemed like
Hector.
Yeah, dwarf actors were also getting just, you know, playing evil leprechauns or what have you. And so it's just like, yeah, it's like we've come so long, and yet there's still just moments where it's like, come on, guys, give them a role with some meat, or just don't cast the role at all. You know?
Oh yes, these are definitely good opportunities. The first one that was notable was casting a mobility impaired girl for a Netflix show. It's kind of like Malcolm in the Middle. Healing Powers of Dude is kind of a Malcolm in the Middle teen show with
Kind of
disabled kids and a talking dog, and it actually is a really good show.
That sounds like Scooby-Doo.
Dude's not that smart. Dude's just a dude who's a dog, but the kids are smarter.
Give it the flow, Oreo, dude.
I'm trying, dude.
The dog's dumb. The kids are smart.
Oh, okay.
Teresa, you gotta let me interview you one day about your short film stuff. You don't have to. I would like you to let me interview you one day about your short film stuff.
Well, when there's more, I wouldn't mind talking to you.
Absolutely.
Duncan is amazing. Alrighty.
And
Thank
then
you
I got
all.
a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Skipped over my ass.
I didn't know if you wanted to go there. Okay. But you went there. So, yes.
Go ahead, Oreo, and then I'll go.
When you don't have videos on Instagram, you do have a YouTube.
Definitely. Yeah, my YouTube is Oreo Brewer, just like my name. I have movie reviews,
Brewing
TV
some trouble.
yeah, definitely trouble. Show reviews. I do book reviews cover to cover. I show art books that help people decide whether or not they want to buy them or not. I've gotten good feedback on that shit too. I also have my Wattpad, which is Immortal Beloved 89. And I got all my work on there. I have poetry, I have stories, I have my Star Wars fanfic on there.
And for me, mine's
Chase
Bollockbuster. And
Bollocks.
at Bollockbuster on Instagram. I also want to plug something else. I have a YouTube channel, Chase Face Productions, and right now what I plan on doing is once a week do like parody videos or just kind of comedy type, face swaps or just funny videos that have to do with either maybe based on music videos, TV shows, movies, whatever. But more importantly, podcasting is my main thing, and I'm brand new show. I've been doing podcast for a little over 2 years, almost maybe 2.5, but that's on another show, Movie Goat. But I wanted to plug my own. It's one I just started. I'm only a month in. I only have 3 episodes out at the moment, but it's for people, whether you love movies or you love to talk shit about them. I do the homework here, and I track down the internet's ball busting 1-star reviews.
The Amazon 1-star reviews.
Yeah, right, and then I make fun of them.
That's an amazing show idea. I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
You should reach out to them and try to get them on the show to defend their opinions.
Spoiler alert, everything fucking sucks.
What? No, that's
not really though. I actually disagree with a lot of the reviewers, but I purposely kind of what I do is I look for, maybe just kind of like a tagline or a title, or might read like the first sentence or a couple of sentences of a review, and just see if like how much of a hot take it is. Or
thank you, Joe, for being on here. And thank you all for being on here. This was really just lovely because, again,
wait, I have to plug myself.
Plug it hard.
After that lovely conversation,
and we officially got an X rating. No,
if
thank you all.
Want to find my podcast, you can check us out at Dial Up Movie Club.
Matthew
Every
Dawson,
week, me and my buddies.
Dial Up Movie Club.
Yes, sir. Me and buddies take turns
I'm so
recommending
sorry. We did not
movies
let
to
you
one
talk.
another to find out if they're good, bad, somewhere in between. This upcoming week, we got a excellent episode where we are talking to actual X-Men author Carrie Harris about the original X-Men film. So
cool.
check that out.
Oh, the 97 X-Men?
2000, I believe.
Okay,
I
sorry.
like that.
Not the abandoned TV.
No.
Okay, well, cool. I know this is so great meeting you guys, Teresa, Duncan, Oreo, and Justin.
Thank
always
you.
welcome back.
Thank you so much for having us.
And
I'll be back tomorrow.
Thank you, Cam. Nice
Yeah,
to
it's
meet
perfect.
everybody.
Thanks for having us.
You rocked.
Thank
You guys
you.
all seriously on. You were too awesome.
Thanks, guys. Have a
Totally
good night.
did. Gnarly.
Totally gnarly.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up